organic, unpredictable, unknown, lovely, beautiful, a sense of fulfillment. This is part of the pleasures of life and not the chores of life.
Coming up on Daily Iowan TV.
Some students will keep more money in their pockets next year. Find out why.
And Girls on the Run. See what local event benefits women chasing after their dreams.
And in sports, Drake relays, spring games, and Iowa basketball left at the altar.
We have it all at the top of the hour. Daily Iowan TV starts now. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Muriel Kone.
And I'm Reed Chandler. Iowa Governor Terry Branstad has signed the bill to freeze tuition for in-state undergraduate students at the 3 Regent universities for a second straight year. This comes after the bill passed both the Iowa House and Senate shortly after 8 p.m. on Wednesday. The bill allocates over $530 million for all 3 state colleges. This marks the first time since 1975 that in-state tuition has not increased 2 years in a row.
And University of Iowa hospitals and clinics patients will see a 6% rate increase starting on July 1st. According to the hospital's VP of Finance, this recent change will only affect 2% of the people who go to the hospital, and the rate increase was determined by contracts with commercial paying partners and as well as competitive rates with other similar hospitals.
Another attempt to legalize medicinal marijuana won bipartisan support Wednesday in the Iowa Senate. A measure was approved by a subcommittee as well as the Senate Ways and Means Committee, allowing the medical use of oil derived from marijuana as a last resort to treat chronic epilepsy. The measure is now eligible for floor debate.
E-cigarettes, like their tobacco-filled counterparts, will be illegal to purchase for those under the age of 18 if the FDA's proposal released Thursday is approved. The public has 75 days to comment on the current proposal at hand. And the proposal also requires warning labels on e-cigarette products. There's not a set time as to when the FDA will release a final proposal, but most people expect the regulations to end up in court.
It's time to vote for Johnson County residents. Early voting for the county and state elections started today as the June 3rd primary election nears. But early voting comes at an inconvenient time for students as finals approach and the year comes to an end. Officials do hope that more voting sites this year could be the solution to the issue. 2 open seats are up for the taking for the Johnson County Board of Supervisors.
Overcrowding in residence halls has been an issue here at the UI since enrollment increased in 2010. We sent our very own Nick Fisher to see how the university is looking into counteracting the problem.
Hillcrest, Reno, Quadrangle, Slater, and in the fall of 2015, a new West Side residence hall will open. This new residence hall will be named in honor of Mary Louise Peterson, a University of Iowa alumnus and former president of the Board of Regents.
I think it was a good opportunity to honor her for her years of service to the university and to the state of Iowa.
The new residence hall is the first to come to the university's campus since 1968. The 10-story structure comes at a cost of $53 million.
The new dorm will accommodate just over 500 students, making it one of the smaller dorms on campus, but the university says it is a necessity.
So it'll be primarily for first-year students, but we will have some space for some upper-class students if they choose to live there.
The structure will be home to several different living learning communities which aim to connect students with common academic goals or interests. These LLCs will be housed in pods of 26 to 28 students in double rooms and will include a group study room, a lounge, and private bathrooms. For updates on the progress of the build, head over to now.uiowa.edu. Nick Fisher, Daily Iowan TV.
Stange said construction is on schedule and will be housing students in the fall of 2015.
Traveling film festival LunaFest made a pit stop in Iowa City Wednesday in a partnership fundraiser with the local program Girls on the Run. LunaFest showed 7 award-winning films, and held a private auction in efforts to raise money for the nonprofit. Iowa City is one of 150 cities to host LunaFest this year, and this is the 3rd year Girls on the Run has partnered with the festival.
So we've never turned a girl away, and actually this year we are anticipating giving away $60,000 in scholarships, so events like this make sure that girls can always join Girls on the Run.
A whopping 85% of the money raised last night will go back to Girls on the Run.
still on the way. Imagine discovering you had a tumor so rare you're one of the only people in the world with it. One UI student's story is next.
But first, I'm hoping all these late April showers will bring along a beautiful May. We'll hand it back over to Daily Iowan TV's Nick Fisher for a look at our weather. Nick, what's it looking like?
Thanks, guys. After a wet and gloomy day today, we can expect clear and sunny skies tomorrow. The morning will be a comfortable 52 degrees, and by the afternoon, we can expect a high temperature of 70 without a cloud in sight. After the sun goes down, we can expect the temperature to drop off just a bit to a high of 62 degrees. As we head into the weekend, Saturday will bring us partly cloudy skies with a high temperature of 71. Bring out the rain boots and umbrellas because we can expect showers from Sunday to Wednesday. Sunday, there's a 90% chance of thunderstorms with a high of 72. Monday will be very similar with thunderstorms expected and a high temperature of 64. Tuesday will have a high temperature of 54 and a 70% chance of rain, and Wednesday will bring us a high temperature of 53. That's all I have for you tonight. Back to you.
And now it's time for this week's edition of Spotlight Iowa City.
And you know, Reed, today we're shining a light on a University of Iowa student and her battle with a very unique medical condition.
Well, with that, we'll hand it over to our own Megan Horahan for more. Megan?
Thanks, guys. In 5th grade, Lucy Champagne began feeling a pain in her ankle. She grew up in a household tight on money and only went to the doctor when it was absolutely necessary. About 6 years later, during her junior year of high school, her doctors discovered something they'd never seen before. Daily Iowan TV's Megan Sanchez sat down with Lucy to find out more on her diagnosis.
When doctors first operated on Lucy Champagne's ankle, they were so surprised by what they saw, they pulled out their phones just to take a picture.
He showed me this nerve, and it was as big as his index finger, which is probably the width of my thumb. And that's just not right.
But doctors didn't think much of it. They just thought her nerves were different. Until her freshman year of college, when the pain came back.
But then I started to realize that there was like a lump coming out of my leg, and that just obviously was not good.
What doctors originally saw as abnormally large nerves turned out to be a tumor wrapping around the nerves in Lucy's ankle. The tumor then balled up, which caused the lump. The tumor itself is very rare, which is why the diagnosis took a while. Lucy said through research she's only seen 1 or 2 other cases of this kind of tumor in the ankle. And unfortunately, doctors told Lucy she could no longer play her favorite sport, volleyball.
I don't cry, I'm not a crier, but I'll admit that I broke down in the room.
Lucy just completed a series of very painful treatments where doctors inject alcohol into her nerve.
And it felt as if somebody had taken my nerve and just light it on fire and cut it with 1,000 razor blades at once.
Lucy isn't sure what the future holds for her tumor, but she said she will not stop fighting.
But I signed up for my first 5K this summer. I'm not gonna let a tumor make me sit on the couch and get fat. I'm not gonna do it.
Megan Sanchez, Daily Iowan TV.
The goal after her alcohol treatments is to remove the now dead tumor wrapping around her ankle nerve, and hopefully it won't return. If it does, Lucy is at risk to lose feeling in her foot and toes. That's this week's Spotlight. Back to you.
And now for what's happening beyond Iowa. A Chicago pediatrician caught in the middle of Afghanistan's violence. Chicago doctor Jerry O'Mahos, along with 2 other American doctors, were killed today when an Afghan security guard opened fire at a Kabul hospital. Today's shooting adds to a string of deadly attacks this year on foreign civilians in the Afghan capital.
President Obama is rounding up more sanctions for Russia. Today, the president warned Moscow of more economic sanctions for failing to keep up with their commitments to the U.S. for de-escalating their presence in Ukraine. President Obama's warnings came with pessimism, though, for the little influence they might have on Russian leader Vladimir Putin as he continues to stir up instability in Ukraine. And there's a lot going on in our sports studio this evening, Muriel.
You know, that's right, and a lot to get to. So with that, let's send it over to the Daily Iowan TV sports studio where our own Kevin Glick is standing by. Kev?
That's right, Muriel. So much to get to on the program this evening. And so with that, welcome back to the Daily Iowan TV sports studio. Kevin Glick here and ready to jump right into things with some huge news coming in from the hardwood on Thursday afternoon. Arizona State it is for JUCO forward Willie Atwood after moving back his decision several times over the past week. Atwood announcing that this afternoon that he is trading in his Connors State black and orange for the Sun Devils of Arizona State. The 6'8" forward and Iowa transfer target averaged 20.8 points per game last year at the junior college level, shooting 57.6% from the field on top of hauling in 9 boards a game. Iowa basketball, that's over 6 months away. Jake Rudock and the rest of the Gridiron Hawks, well, they can be seen on display this weekend inside Kinnick Stadium. The junior signal caller getting the nod Wednesday afternoon from third-year coordinator Greg Davis and the former Longhorns offensive coordinator, ready to take year 3 of his project to the next level with Rudock under center.
We can function totally without a huddle now, even though we can huddle if we choose to. And we've picked the tempo up. It's been a little bit of a process because we play with so many different personnel groupings. When you play with one personnel grouping a lot, it's real easy to play tempo football.
The annual spring game may have the eyes of Iowa City upon it, but the Drake Relays, arguably the hottest ticket in the state this weekend. Daily Iowan TV Sports' Whitney Blakemore has more on that legendary blue track.
The blue oval, the staple piece of the Drake Relays, and something the Iowa track and field team looks forward to running on every year.
The Drake Relays is one of the big meets for us every single year. I mean, I refer to it as a home meet for us. Just 110 miles down the road in the state of Iowa, and the world really comes to the Drake Relays.
Colleges across the country come to Des Moines to compete at this meet, as well as many high schools from all around Iowa, making this home away from home meet that much more special.
The native Iowans, I think it's really something special. They grew up around the Drake Relays. Maybe they ran there in high school, probably they did, and now to be Hawkeyes running there, it is really something very special because it's one of the major collegiate meets in the country every year.
And for those Iowans, coming back to compete at the Drake Relays as a college athlete brings back that feeling you only can get on the blue oval.
It's just, I don't know, it's amazing. The run on the blue oval is just, I don't know, it's what you always dream of. It's a great opportunity, and you know you get to compete against some of the best people in the country. So going to Drake, it being like a home meet for us because the crowd always goes wild for Iowa. It's just, I don't know, it's really let's say an exciting feeling, and you know it really amps you up to run there.
Along with Tevin C. Mincy, thrower Drew Clark is excited to get back to Drake, where things will be a little different than in high school.
The high school shot put was never inside the stadium when I was there, so that'll be really exciting to be able to throw on the infield for shot.
From Iowa or not, every Hawkeye trackster knows the rich history the Drake Relays has and what an honor it is to compete there.
Just coming to Iowa from out of state, you hear a little bit about Drake just because it's big in the track and field world, but once you get to Iowa, it's a different story, and you see how you get there and there's a lot of hype about it, and yeah, it's a big deal, and it's really special to be able to compete at that meet every year.
2 months ago, I put a picture of the packed stadium, and 8 weeks to go. Drake Relays, are you ready?
Whitney Blakemore, Daily Iowan TV Sports.
From the track to the diamond, looking into the black and gold weekend calendar, we have Rick Heller's squad hosting South Dakota State for a 3-game series starting this Friday. Iowa comes into the weekend at 22-15 and is looking to build off a series victory against Big Ten rival Minnesota earlier in the week, using 2 comeback victories to grab their first series win against the Gophers since 2005. But baseball not the only team in action this weekend. Softball will resume Big Ten play after a short trip down the road to Ames on Wednesday for the annual Iowa Corn Cy-Hawk Series. Marlo Looper and company and trying to steal a victory on the road against Indiana this weekend. The Hawks hitting a season-high 4 home runs in Ames earlier in the week against the Cyclones. Let's hope that momentum carries over to Bloomington. And finally, we have 2 sports competing in their respective Big Ten championships. Women's tennis will be in Evanston, Illinois, while women's golf will be heading to the Hoosier State. Both teams striving to end their season on a good note. Unfortunately, we are out of time on the program this evening, but we'll be back this Sunday with all the latest from the world of Hawkeye sports. Reed, Mariel, back to you at the desk.
Well, that's all we have for you tonight, but be sure to read Friday's pages of the Daily Iowan.
Well, one local boutique closes its doors. The details are tomorrow.
And the university wants to reduce your student debt. Read about their efforts tomorrow.
Well, thanks for tuning in this evening. We'll be back the same time on Sunday, or you can catch us anytime online at dailyiowan.com.
Thanks for watching. Have a great night.